Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Dave from MyGunValues.com, and today we're going to cover a rifle that probably doesn't need a lot of introduction to a lot of you, but it can cause some confusion. I'm doing a little housekeeping for the website here. This is a Henry Repeating Arms Golden Boy in 22 Winchester Magnum rimfire. On our website, you will see these marked the caliber 22 WMR, which is the shorthand version of it. But what can happen is, there was, as most of you know, there was an original Henry rifle which came out in 1860. It was the first practical lever-action rifle developed, and it got its name from its originator. His last name was Henry, Benjamin Tyler Henry. There we go. The Henry Rifle Company became part of Winchester circa 1865, 1866, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so it ceased to exist. Well, there was a family that brought these rifles back in 1993, and in 2002 they acquired the rights to the name Henry. And so we have the Henry Repeating Arms Company. They're based in New Jersey, although they do also have a plant in Wisconsin. Everything's built in the United States. They do not bring anything in from overseas, which in today's world is a nice thing. They build centerfire rifles, primarily lever actions. There are some bolts out there. The Golden Boy gets its name from the brass colored receiver. Now, unlike the original, which was brass, this is kind of a brass plating, and I don't know if it'll show up. This one's got some wear on it, on the high spots where some of that plating has come off. It's pretty much a standard 22 in that you have the tube feed magazine. It's been around for a long time, sometimes in the butt, sometimes a tube underneath the barrel. Pretty common. It's got the single barrel band. This particular model has an octagonal barrel on it. It kind of snazzes it up, makes it look older than it really is. I did a fair amount of shooting with this earlier today and got it dialed in so I could ring the gong pretty much every time at 100 yards. And it took a few rounds to get it on target, but that's typical when you get a new to you rifle. So where this came from, as I've mentioned before, I live in the state of Washington. How do I word this? The powers that be in this state make it so that if a police agency wants to sell their confiscated firearms, they must do so through licensed dealers. I have my license, and they had one of those auctions the beginning of August. So that's where this came from. There's a whole lot more rifles that are going to be going through here, and a few handguns, but it was a Department of Fish and Wildlife auction. So as you can well imagine, most of the firearms acquired were rifles and shotguns. Only 2 handguns came out of that sale. At least I only purchased 2, because these all do have to be resold. Not sure on the timing of this video when it's going to go up. Should anybody see this, this gun will be for sale at the Bremerton, Washington gun show. I believe it's October 14th and 15th, along with most of the others in fact, all the others that were purchased at that sale, other than 2 that were pre-sold when I purchased them. Got the brass plated butt plate. This is what we refer to as a straight grip stock. There's no protrusion down here, which makes it a pistol grip. Serial number, should it ever be an issue, is down here on the bottom of the tang. the fork, whatever this is called. This is the tang up here. I'm not sure what Henry refers to this as in their nomenclature. See what else about this. It's got a brass bead front sight. Very smooth action. It just moves pretty much like butter. Very little resistance. And when I was shooting it at the 25-yard target, sighting it in, I could have covered that group with a nickel once I got it dialed in. Then 100 yards, it spread out a little bit. The 22 Magnum round that we're talking about, all this really is a lengthened 22 long rifle, loaded to higher pressure. This round, depending on which source you want to believe, either was developed in 1959 or 1960. You know, it varies. It was designed originally around a 40 grain bullet. These are 40 grain bullets. These are CCI loads. The you know, there have been loads. I think the lightest I've ever seen is 32 grains. I think I've seen as heavy as 50 grain bullets. So it's really important once you get these sighted in, you stick with a certain kind of ammunition. You start flipping back and forth, you're not going to get the accuracy as a general rule. And you know, that's part of the problem. That's why I don't do a lot of rimfire. As anybody who's watched this channel for any length of time knows, I love to load my own. And you can't reload. Well, back that up. In this country, there's no practical reason for loading rimfire. I have heard stories in areas where you can't get firearms of tearing apart a shotgun shell, loading this with a piece of shot from the shell, and using the powder from the shotgun shell to reload it, and putting like a paste made of match heads down here and smearing it into the rim for a priming compound. I'm not sure how well that would work, but I've seen that story more than once, so there's probably something to it. How much, I'm not sure. So let's see what else. The specs are a little misleading on this gun. Depending on when the catalog came out, they say 13 rounds. I'm not a real fan of including one in the chamber in your magazine capacity, and wherever possible I've tried not to. This rifle holds 12. I believe the specifications say 13, which would be the one in the chamber. So that's always going to be a little bit of a variable, depending. There is no safety as such on this rifle. You know, there's no flip lever or anything to put it on safe mode. So obviously once you lever it, really the hammer being forward is really your only safety. And of course, if you were to smack something on the hammer with a rimfire, it could fire the cartridge. But I just wanted to give a quick show. I did shoot this gun quite extensively earlier today. But when I do my shooting videos at the range, if I'm going to shoot from inside, I have to have two cameras. And it started raining today, so I had to have, you know, I had to use both cameras. And while I was on vacation, my daughter borrowed my camera and brought the camera back and not the charger. So I'm making do with one camera today, so I'll have to do the shooting next weekend. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. You know, we're nowhere without you. Please, if you have any questions or comments, keep them clean, but please send them to the MyGunValues.com contact us form on the website, or you can certainly comment here on YouTube. You know, hit the subscribe button if you like, or if you have something you want to see, let us know, and we will try to get to it and bring it up for you. But for now, I want to thank you for watching, and have a good day.